Hi Siri, I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Crime Prevention Security System Studios East Branch. And I would say we had some shocking developments last night in hockey. If anybody's following the hockey playoffs, we had two underdogs, considerable underdogs, win on the road last night in games one of their 7-game series against the two top seeds in the West. So it was shocking to see the Seattle Kraken, their second year in existence, beat the defending Cup champions 3-1, the Colorado Avalanche, and Winnipeg beat the Vegas Knights 5-1. Rangers also beat the Devils 5-1. That wasn't as big an upset. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, baby, they laid on the perennial overrated losers in Toronto 7-3.
You don't like the Maple? You have a problem with the Maple Leafs?
I don't have a problem with them because they never win, but they're always hyped up during the season as being the team that could knock off this team or that team. And I heard yesterday all day long how they were going to beat the Boston Bruins and this, blah, blah, blah. Shine On Sports, who really talks about football. And he's talking about how the Maple Leafs are set up this year to do it. And they get bombed by the Tampa Bay Lightning, who've been to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think, three straight years. So at any rate, Tampa Bay now takes control of that series because they own the home ice, although last night proved that all the road teams win. Home ice doesn't mean damn thing. So that's how it works in the NHL. In the NBA, QB, did you watch any of that? I guess you didn't.
But I did. I watched a little bit. I flipped around. Blowouts, right? Yeah,
not surprising at all that the Suns would rebound, beating LA Clips by 14, and then the Cavaliers by 17 over the Knickerbockers. And then the Celtics, they look like, I think, the team to beat in the East. They are 13-point winners over the Hawks. They go up 2-0 in that. And then tonight we get to see those amazing well, no, we don't get to see the amazing Sacramento Kings until Thursday. They will play the Warriors. They're up 2-0 in that series. But the Miami Heat, I don't know. We may have a lot of Miami folks, Miami Heat fans watching. The Bucks are in trouble without Giannis. And the Miami Heat look to go 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks in their series tonight.
Milwaukee will win today.
Well, they better have the big guy because they're not the same team without him, obviously.
It's one game in the NBA. That's how it works. I'm telling you.
I'm just saying injuries. And if this guy doesn't play, I don't care how many games. Lakers are also a game up on Memphis. I'd be surprised to see them win that. And then Denver and Minnesota. Denver should have no problem with that. So that's your pro lineup, professional sports lineup. We got the Gator baseball team, QB. They rattled the Rattlers by 10 runs. 17-7. I can't root for Tampa because they're in the Yankees division, but I'm really angry with the Yankees right now because every year it's the same story with the injuries. I mean, Stanton, tweaked the hamstring again.
Do they not get in shape before the season, JC?
I asked them, I said, do these guys stretch? How does Stanton have a 4-week
possible? He doesn't even, what did he hurt?
His hamstring again.
Doing what? He doesn't even play in the outfield, does he?
I don't know. Maybe he ran from the dugout to the batting cage. It's just ridiculous. I'm just so tired of it. It's the same story every year. I'm getting sick of this. They signed this guy, Rodon, who pitched for NC State. He was San Francisco's best pitcher last year. He hasn't even begun to throw yet because his back hurt him in spring training. I mean, they get all these guys. I don't know if it's the steroids or what it is. But at any rate, the Braves 8-1 last night, 4-1, 14-4 overall. They just dominate people. They just pummel people. Spencer Strider, dude, he's going to win the Cy Young if he keeps this up. 6 innings, 1 hit. That guy is unbelievable. He's really good. And he had 9 strikeouts last night. Just check him out. Spencer Strider. And then the night before, the Braves.
Do you know where he played his college baseball?
Well, obviously you do because you're asking me.
Yeah, because he throws gas, and he's he's about your size, JC.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
and
God bless him.
yeah,
He's
I mean
awesome.
he may be 5'9".
Well,
You're 5'7", I think.
5'8" and a
Um,
half, 5'8"
five eight
and
and
a
a
half.
half. He's a little guy, but he throws gas. He's a Clemson Tiger.
Well, good for him. He struck out 9 batters last night and allowed 1 hit in 6 innings. But the good news for Atlanta, as well as that continued performance, is Fried. Max Fried the night before was effective coming off the disabled list, I think, and he was very effective. 5.5, 5 1/3 innings, something like that, and beat the Padres, in San Diego. Atlanta's just solid. They're just
Actually,
really solid.
Spencer Strider's he's 6'1", 195. He looks a
Well,
lot smaller than that on the mound.
I got
But
him by 10 pounds on the scale, but he's got me by 3 inches.
whatever happened with your weight loss?
Well, I'm at 206. I mean, I was at 215. I'm at 206.
Oh, okay. So you've lost weight.
I
You've lost a lot.
went to the sleep clinic yesterday, made sure that I'm, using the machine right and all this. And now they're trying to talk you into getting a procedure called the hell. Anyway, it's a pacemaker type thing that they put in your body. I said, no, thanks. Nobody's cutting me open for my sleep apnea. I'll just stick with the hose and the mask and pretend I'm a F-16 fighter pilot. Okay, I'm good. I'm good with that. I can pretend I'm shooting down Russian MiGs every day before I go to bed. It's great. I love it.
So if you were to insert this apparatus in your body, you don't have to wear the fire pilot stuff anymore?
No. She started talking about it, and I just started thinking dollar signs, insurance claims, all this shit. And then, put something in you. No, they're not cutting me open. Not for that. So I'll just be a fighter pilot and maybe try to lose some weight and do it the old-fashioned way, QB.
All right, we got a text from Jonathan on the Titan Mar text line. I guess this came in from yesterday since we're tape delayed. He says, JC, can you give us a rundown? How is Alabama doing in baseball?
I think they're 5-8. They're average. Everybody in the West is kind of the same team except LSU. They're the class, and Arkansas, I think. Those are the 2 best teams in the West. A&M's not bad, but the Mississippi teams are about average. Alabama and Auburn are about average. I think they'll make it to Birmingham. But thank you for your interest in Alabama baseball.
What about Alabama softball? I haven't heard a whole lot about them this year.
Not Montana Fouts, big, tall, lanky young lady. They're okay.
Is she still there?
Yeah, Montana's still pitching.
She has been there forever.
It's been a couple years. Okay, so you asked me last week about their spring game. They call it the A-Day game, and that is this Saturday. They cleaned house in recruiting this past year, and if anybody thinks it's over for Alabama, they're grossly mistaken. That won't be the case.
Hey, Chris Storing Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North into your end zone, or you try to do like a coffin corner, you actually get penalized for that because they want to see returns.
Into the other in the other team's end zone, you're saying?
Yeah. So if we're at the midfield punting to the other team and we punt in the end zone, they get it instead at the 20 or whatever. They get it at like the 35.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Okay. So they penalize the punter on that. But the one rule that I think is very, very interesting, and it's kept so many games close in the XFL, are the 1 point, the 2 point, and the 3 point from the 2, from the 5, and the 10. Now, I think there's only been one conversion on a 3 point play all year long.
Yeah.
But that 2 point, because it gives you an opportunity for a 9 point possession if you get to 3 point. So to answer, I'm not really answering Andy's question. I'm kind of all over the place.
But
basically you kind of take the kicker out of maybe the NFL would say, okay, you can try a 2 point play, a 3 point play, or you can go back and kick the extra point from the 35, or maybe they should move the extra point back to the 40, because these kickers, those are chip shots.
Give me the extra points from the 25, which makes it a 35-yard shot.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, but how about roughing the passer call? Are they going to get a little bit better on those calls, because those calls influence possessions and sometimes games even.
Well, you're talking about the NFL, yeah.
Well, I know you breathe on the guy, he falls down. It's roughing the passer. That bothers me. I don't mean to rough the passer, but I'm talking about if you're going to put a red jersey on, put a red jersey on. I mean, just make it that way. I don't know. I mean, that's just
there's a time and place for roughing the passer, but as you said, some of those that we saw last year during the NFL season were just totally ridiculous.
They were ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. That's not football, and that's not what defensive players should be trying to figure out. It's not fair. So and that's what I'd like to see them do, QB. But
yeah, so another text that came overnight from Larry. He says, "Hey guys, congratulations to Jalen Hurts for the highest contract ever in NFL history. What do you think Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and the rest of these young quarterbacks are going to get? I mean, they're going to get more than him, especially Joe Burrow. Think about what Joe Burrow is going to get."
Yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it? He plays for Cincinnati.
And that doesn't matter.
Well,
if they don't pay him, he's going to go somewhere else.
Well, I know, but historically, Cincinnati has not opened up the wallet like this. And Jalen Hurts gets this contract for 1 year, and that he's played that was good enough to get them to the Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but he did all he could. But is he worth that? And Lamar Jackson is the guy I'm thinking about, QB. Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he needs a better agent or what, but he could have had this Jalen Hurts contract.
I don't think he has an agent.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And that's what I mean. And that's the thing is that, he had this opportunity to get Jalen Hurts' contract, and that's what Baltimore offered. He turned it down. He wanted Deshaun Watson's contract, which was completely, utterly ridiculous. But, the guaranteed money is what they're fighting for, and they're fighting for longevity under a contract. And that's,
the guaranteed money used to not be in play in football until the last few years. But when back to Cincinnati, you got to think about it. Look, Cincinnati's been to the Super Bowl. They've been to the AFC Championship game with Joe Burrow. He's from Ohio.
I agree.
They're going to pay him. He will be the highest paid quarterback when his contract comes up. I can promise you that.
Well,
he is that good.
The question is, he should. But again, we're talking about Cincinnati, dude.
I guarantee, again, what I just said, JC, how many quarterbacks have taken them to the Super Bowl and then follow up the following year being in the AFC Championship game, a few plays away from going back to the Super Bowl?
I'm not debating his resume, QB.
Right, but you keep saying it because it's Cincinnati. But you're not listening. You're not seeing the big picture. How he's performed, being an Ohio kid, and they are a contender. It's that simple. They're a contender.
And they will be coming to Jacksonville for all you Jaguar season ticket holder fans. I'll see you there. They'll be coming to Jacksonville, as will the Chiefs, the 49ers, and the Baltimore Ravens. Think about that schedule. Cincinnati, Kansas City, San Francisco, arguably the three best teams in football last year. You can just throw them in any order. Philadelphia was also there, of course. And then you have the Ravens, along with the Colts, the Houston, whatever the Houston team is, and the Texans, and Tennessee. How about that schedule for the season ticket holders, QB?
Yeah, that's outstanding. Now, I don't know. I mean, that's tough. That's tough for sure. Yeah. All right, JC, it's time to get to our Peachland Dental, the International's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte surrounding areas. It's our Peachland Dental Zurich Classic of New Orleans PGA Tour event. This is the team event, JC.
Okay.
So you get. I'll let you go first because that's what I do. I let the guest always go first.
How long am I a guest? I've been with you for about 30 years.
Well, until you actually host this show, you're going to be a guest.
I would.
You had plenty of opportunities while I've been off here in the state of Texas to be a host.
I would like proper training first with all your things. Okay, I tell you who I like. This golfer. I'm not going to pick this team, but I think Thigala is going to win a tournament this year. I think his game is tremendous. All right,
who's his partner?
Suh, S-U-H.
Oh, John Suh.
John Suh. And I mean, they can be great, but I'm going to go with first pick. Gosh, this is a real challenge here, QB. We're just kind of picking the apples in a barrel here. I don't really know one different than the other. Who's good? Who's bad? A lot of these golfers are guys that don't play every week on tour. So this is kind of a goofy little event. Obviously, they're going to take it off before they get ready for Wells Fargo, and then they get ready for the PGA. All right, give me Shoffley and Cantlay.
Oh, I mean, go out on a limb. Go out on a limb.
Well, that was going to be your pick. Don't lie.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Well, yes,
here's my first pick.
Yes,
give me Si Woo Kim and Tom Kim.
Yes, the Korean connection, baby. You are so in love with them. I think it's great
because they can golf their ball.
Well, first of all, are you sure about that? Because I got Beyond On and Siwoo Kim playing. Are you sure you got your Kims right?
Yes, it's Siwoo and Tom, who's 20, the youngest guy on tour. You know, Tom Tank.
Okay, so there's another S Kim in the field then, because
there's multiple ones. I have Siwoo and Tom Kim. You're up next. I know exactly who I might as well write it down. I know who you're picking. Well,
I can't find him. But if you know who it is, tell me, and I'll tell you if you're right.
No, because I may pick them if you don't.
Well, this is this is really challenging. How about John Daly and David Duval? Can you believe they're in this field? I mean, think about those two guys. Dear Lord. All right, John Daly and David Duval are playing together. Holy. But all right, I'm going to go with damn it, I'll tell you here. I'm going to go with Max Homa and Colin Morikawa.
All right, I was going to take them.
I know you were. I don't blame you. Is that who you thought I was going to pick?
Yeah, that's who I was. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I will go with.
Why don't you take the Fitzpatrick twins? You love them.
Who?
Matthew Fitzpatrick and A. Fitzpatrick.
I don't know who A. Fitzpatrick is.
I don't either.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Sam Burns and Billy Horschel.
Good team.
I think they've won this before together.
Yeah, that's a really strong team.
I'll use your strategy. Sam Burns is an LSU guy, so they're playing close to Baton Rouge, so he should play well.
Brilliant. Well, I don't know. You explain to me why Scheffler plays so well at Austin. I'm going to finish off with. I just had them up here. Harris English and Tom Hogue.
All right,
Harris English shows up in these sidebar events, and he'll win them.
All right, so this is an odd pairing. I'm curious how these dudes, because I don't know if you get to pick your partner, because a lot of these guys have played together in the past together.
Yes,
but this might be the most unique.
Well, it's Duval and Daly are the most unique.
Well, they're old, so they just stuck them together.
Yeah,
but I'm going to take Sunjay M.
Okay,
and Kashmir Keith Mitchell.
Kashmir Keith.
That's what they call him.
Well, he's been in the top 10 a couple times this year. He's played well.
But is that not an odd pairing, Sunjay with the Georgia Bulldog?
Yeah, very strange. I mean, they all love
Sunjay speaking very good. I don't think he speaks very good English.
Yeah, that is odd. You've got that pairing. But maybe they just drew those guys blind draw here at the Zurich. And you got, for some of the players, I just think it's funny. You got Kevin Stadler playing in this thing. Good heavens. So
that's probably his son, right?
Yes, that's correct. I like your Burns Horschel pick. I think Adam Hadwin and Nick Taylor could be a good team, but I think I got the best teams. We'll find out. It's kind of an interesting format.
Well, you have like three of the top 5 golfers in the world on your picks.
Well, of course, and listen, PGA is at Oak Hill Country Club, which is I think Rochester, on May 18th. I'll be at the Annandale Country Club in Jackson. Much more important event on that weekend at Annandale. But you've got the Wells Fargo coming up in 2 weeks, followed by Byron Nelson. So they'll probably play the Wells Fargo, take off the Byron Nelson, and I'll be ready for the PGA on May 18th weekend. So
when is the Annandale member guest?
The Annandale member guest is the same weekend as the PGA. It's May 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st.
Don't forget my golf shirt with the quails on it.
I will get taken care of with Peter Millar, and I will be visiting Minute Maid Park before I go to Jackson to go watch the Cubs play the Astros. I'll be sitting right behind home plate in the ConocoPhillips section, which is an oil company. I'll be sitting right there behind home plate watching the Astros beat up on the Chicago Cubs May 17th. I'll make sure I take pictures for you.
But you don't like the Astros.
I'm starting to like them because my kid works there. So Houston's a very cool place, apparently, according to Jack. And Houston has 2 airports. It's one of those cities that are big enough to have 2 airports, like New York and Chicago, and I guess Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. And
I think Dallas has 2 airports too, Jason.
Yes, Dallas does. Love Field is the Southwest hub, and then of course DFW in Houston. The Houston Hobby Airport is the Southwest hub there, and Bush Intercontinental, which is way in the north part of town by the Woodlands. That's a pain in the neck to get to. I'm going to fly into Hobby right downtown.
All right. Well, we appreciate the travel update. Okay. All right, JC, have a great day.
Hey, you're going to play in front of like a big crowd in St. Louis this weekend at the old Rams home field. So good luck.
Yeah, we can't wait to get there and get out.
Right.
All right, have a good day, JC. We'll talk to you soon.
Friday. We'll see you Friday.
Yes. That's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Nike International Diamond Center, Dave & Buster's, Bass Pro Shop, Regal Cinemas, Prime and Pearl, and the HBC's Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. Going to take a quick time out. When we come back, Seth Harp takes over. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peaceland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hey dads and kids, join head coach Billy Napier at the Gainesville All-Pro Dad Experience, Saturday, April 22nd at 9 a.m. at the University of Florida Sanders Practice Facility and Fields. Learn fatherhood tips and participate in activities with your kids while rotating through stations on the field. It's only $25 per family, so register today at allprodad.com/events. The Gainesville All-Pro Dad Experience is brought to you by the Florida Department of Education, Dairy Council of Florida, and Tyson.
Hi, this is Steve Spurrier, former head ball coach of our Florida Gators. Business is booming at our restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. So we're looking to hire 3 top quality front of the house managers and assistant managers. Restaurant talent acquisition is like building a championship football dynasty, and I'm recruiting great people to join our newest team. Thanks to the overwhelming support of people here in Gainesville, the Gator Nation, and fans of all the teams, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is one of the busiest restaurants in the state. And with our weekend brunch buffet and our takeout options coming soon, we're looking to add a few new restaurant leaders. Everyone knows a coach sometimes is about as good as all of his talent, his players, and his assistant coaches. And if you have a restaurant management experience and are looking to work in a fast-paced, fun environment, then go to www.spurriers.com and apply today. Thank you, and go Gators.
Seth Harp on Sports out of the bullpen here for the second half of PodUp with Matthews in the morning. What do we have in store for you in this segment of this show? I got my best bets for the SEC quarterbacks in the NFL draft. We're a week away. What is the best fit for the guys? And what's the best fit for the teams with these guys? 4 quarterbacks we're going to look at: Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker, of course, Stetson Bennett, and Will Levis. So diving into that. Also, baseball takes care of business against FAMU. There's a purpose for this. And Florida's got a doubleheader. Softball does with USF tonight. 2 games you'll hear on ESPN Gainesville, 98.1 FM, 850 AM WRUF. So you're going to get both of those. And there's a purpose for this. And there's actually something you can read into these games, believe it or not. And also a little baseball blitz for you. Major League Baseball's not done tinkering. They're not done. The Atlantic League has been their beta testing ground for a lot of this stuff. And I give the Atlantic League credit. Like, if you're a minor league baseball entity and you want to be relevant, it's tough because, let's face it, it's promotion, Thirsty Thursdays, all those things to get everybody excited, bat races, sock races, ridiculous things that take place at the minor league level. The Atlantic League's been like, we'll test some stuff. This is where the pitch clock got tested. This is where the runner in extra innings on second base was tested. The Atlantic League is rolling out 3 new beta testing entities for baseball to implement next season. Pretty fascinating stuff. So we're going to look at all of those as well. All right. Really quick, I wanted to start off with, baseball. They bludgeoned FAMU last night. What do you get out of it? That's a padding game. It's stat padding. It's tweaking with your bullpen. The midweek games now are a chance for Kevin O'Sullivan to test some things out. That's what they are. The midweek games are, okay, let's see what this guy has. Let's tinker this. Let's try this. And you're going to bludgeon teams like this. This is all about SEC play now and winning series. Not that it wasn't before, but after that, watching that last night, go up. Hey, you know what? Pad these stats. Get comfortable at the plate. Let's tinker with this. Let's try this in this situation. They're glorified inter-squad games is what they are. And you bludgeon somebody like that. What do you get out of it? Nothing. I look at the midweek games now for Florida baseball like we used to see in late November, where they always had the tune-up games before you took on your rival, before Florida State, when they'd play what? There's some really bad team, Presbyterian and Furman, and what is this nonsense? And that's what it is. That's kind of, it's just tune up. And softball plays USF tonight. So USF's a little bit higher up on the scale than I would say a FAMU is for softball. But what is it here? Well, after what softball did this weekend, you got a doubleheader tonight, and you got a gigantic series with Tennessee coming up this weekend. It's very similar. Very similar. So there you go. Again, in games like this, you're trying things. Okay, here's a 2-1 fastball. Let's see if I can sneak it by him. It didn't work. Okay, let's try it. That's how I look at this stuff. At least at this point. Softball doubleheader tonight. I would guess forward momentum. You just took 2 or 3 against Georgia. You're heading into a gigantic weekend series with Tennessee. Forward momentum. So that looking at least the Gator Sports, that's what I look at. Okay. Best bets. There are things that are in your best interest. There are things that are in my best interest. That's why people vote that way. When it comes to situations, there may be, they should pick him. They should pick this guy in the NFL. They should pick him. But that's not in the player's best interest. And I wanted to go through here with the 4 main SEC quarterbacks that are in this draft, which is a week away from tomorrow. Hard to believe. But we're less than 10 days away from the NFL draft. The 4 best fits, or the 4 quarterbacks where they fit best in the NFL for them. Anthony Richardson. Start with the big guy. The best fits for Anthony Richardson is one of 2 places. The best fits for Anthony Richardson are the Tennessee Titans or the Baltimore Ravens. Those are the 2 best fits. You have long-standing, strong coaches, Mike Vrabel, John Harbaugh. You have, at least in Tennessee's case, a stable backfield with Derrick Henry. You have a predominantly strong offensive line, and you have a little bit of a weak division. I mean, let's face it, that division now belongs to the Jaguars. So looking at it, Ryan Tannehill, is he still going to be the starter? Anthony Richardson, there's no pressure to immediately play right away. You can bring him along. He can play right away. Ryan Tannehill is hurt all the time, so he's going to play. It's one of those situations where he doesn't have to do everything. Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville had to do everything out of the gate. Joe Burrow in Cincinnati had to do everything out of the gate. Got hurt. Patrick Mahomes didn't have to do everything out of the gate in Kansas City. Growth. Jalen Hurts didn't have to do everything out of the gate. Philadelphia. Anthony Richardson's best fits are the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens, for the sheer opportunity that you're behind a guy that may not be there. And Lamar Jackson, I don't know what that looks like going forward. I don't know. But if they really feel that Lamar Jackson isn't the guy and he's not going to budge from this, then if I'm the Ravens and I can get my hands on Anthony Richardson, here we go. And the offense is kind of already built for him. And again, you have stable foundations as head coaches. You have stable organizations that don't want to fire coaches every 15 minutes. Kansas City, Andy Reid, a decade. John Harbaugh, Baltimore, well over a decade. Mike Vrabel, Tennessee, it's not on a whim. Oh my God, back to it. You have people now, Patriots, they need to fire Bill Belichick. Stability. Slow down. Those are the two best fits for Anthony Richardson. Will Levis. The best fits for Will Levis, the Falcons and the Commanders. Will Levis is, I don't want to say, let's get this up, but Will Levis is a lot like Justin Herbert. That's the comp that I look at. Now, look, both of these situations, there's work to be done. Now, competing with Desmond Ridder, who knows what it's going to end up with the Commanders. Now, things have changed. You have new ownership there. But again, Ron Rivera has some stability. In Atlanta, out of the gate, there are some moving pieces here that can make these things work. With Will Levis is a guy that can start week one. Will Levis is a guy that you can bring along. But both of these situations for him, the cupboard's not completely bare. The cupboard's completely bare in Houston. Indianapolis, that cupboard, they've got some working pieces in the backfield, but that organization just is awful for quarterbacks. The Carolina Panthers, Moore came in as part of that trade, so they've got a piece there. But look, they're not drafting Will Levis. Will Levis's best situations are the Falcons and the Commanders. Hendon Hooker. The best solution or the best fit for Hendon Hooker is, I got three of them here for Hendon Hooker. The Lions, the Raiders, and the Seahawks. Hendon Hooker's best comps, at least when it comes to the NFL, Seahawks, Lions, and Raiders. He's coming off a pretty big knee injury, right? He doesn't have to start right away. He can ease into it. You have a situation with the Lions. They have their quarterback in Jared Goff. Hendon Hooker and the Lions have 2 first-round picks. If the Lions could get him in the early stages of the second or move up in late in first and get him, now you've got your quarterback for the future. It's going to be on a rookie deal for 4 or 5 years. So the Lions, Hendon Hooker, I think that's the best fit. Second best fit for him is Seattle Seahawks. You have Geno. You can sit behind him. He's got a multi-year contract as well. You can ease into this if you're Hendon Hooker, and the whole entire first year can be a learning year, a la Patrick Mahomes. And the third fit, the Raiders, again, they just gave Jimmy Garoppolo a deal for a couple of years. So Hendon Hooker's one of these guys that doesn't have to, okay, here's 2 or 3 years where you can learn and you can get into this a little bit, especially coming off an injury. So to me, those are the 3 best fits, at least for Hendon Hooker at the next level. And Stetson Bennett is the 4th guy in this best bets. These NFL quarterbacks, the best bets for the SEC guys at the next level. To me, when it comes to Stetson Bennett, the Giants, Vikings, and again, I didn't want to use the Seahawks twice, but I'm going to use them here. The Vikings and the Giants for a guy like Stetson Bennett. They've got their quarterbacks. Daniel Jones just got a multi-year deal. Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback of the future presently in Minneapolis. And Stetson Bennett can come in and be a solid backup underneath him and learn for a couple years. Those are the best fits for those guys. Now, I'm sure Indianapolis would love to. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to look you in the eye. I grew up in Indy. Anthony Richardson will fail if he goes to Indianapolis. That is a poor organization when it comes to quarterbacks. Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. When Bill Polian was there, Marvin Harrison, T.Y. Hilton, Reggie Wayne, Edgerrin James. He's surrounded with Peyton with all the primary weapons that you could ever need. Won Super Bowl. Polian leaves. They luck into Andrew Luck. And they proceed to let him get the piss beat out of him for 8 years. He retires, not even 30. He's like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't stand this anymore. Look, don't confuse you lucked into greatness so you're a great organization. That'd be like saying the Padres are a great organization because they had Tony Gwynn. They're not. Because you luck into somebody doesn't mean you're a great organization. It doesn't. I look at the track record. Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis is a disaster for him. Well-established coaches. Best thing for John Harbaugh, Mike Vrabel. So there you go. When it comes to the 4 SEC quarterbacks, what's the best fit for them? Texans, no. If you love Anthony and you want to see a Gator succeed at the next level, Tennessee. Let's see here. Greg writing in, Seth is pitching himself to be an NFL GM. Greg, look, if the day this broadcasting thing doesn't work out for me anymore, I'm gonna be a male model. I don't want to be an NFL GM. I'm gonna be a male model. That's my best path to success post broadcasting. Actually, I should be doing it right now. Why don't all the NFL teams realize what QB is the best fit for them? Some of them do. A lot of them, we're going to draft on potential. We're going to draft on potential. Or some look, a lot of these guys, you know what you want to do. You circle this thing. Whoever that quarterback is, like, let's draft that guy. Now, for the longest time, the Jaguars, when I was in Jacksonville covering them, Dave Caldwell drafted, he's the best player. That doesn't mean he fits with the organization. Jalen Ramsey was going to be miserable in Jacksonville. What's the best fit for us? What's the best fit for what we do? You approach your team differently if you're going to build it in Chicago outdoors, Green Bay outdoors, and if you're going to build your team in LA, if you're going to build your team in Miami, the approach is different. It just is. Should be anyway. If you're indoors, if you're like the Lions, if you're indoors in a northern team, then you approach to build your team indoor. Remember the Rams, greatest show on turf. Fast, fast, fast. By the way, if anybody is slow and clogging and methodical, you're going to get worked. It's all about speed, baby. The teams that are successful, it's all about speed. Speed, 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 speed. Harp on Sports. Seth Harp with you here on this Wednesday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning. Of course, I come in via the Titan MRI, the hotline. You want to be like Greg? You want to be like Joe? You want to chime in? Love to, baby. I love to have intelligent conversations with engaging listeners. I do. So fire away, baby. Courtesy of Meldon Law, the only official injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators, and of course, brought to you every day by Comfort Temp. Comfort is their business. Peace of mind is the promise. Summer on the way. A little chilly last night. Going to get into the 80s. The 90s are going to be here next week. Don't get caught. Don't get burned. When's the last time your AC was tuned up? Time is now. Summer heat's going to be here. Ready for me to just completely blow your mind? We're 40 days away from June. Don't get burned. The summer heat's going to kick in. Call Comfort Temp today. 352-376-2366. That's 352-376-2366. Okay. I saw this evolution take place in baseball. And I think that this is fascinating for baseball to embrace development and change. For the longest time, baseball listened to the bottom 5%. And this is the biggest engagement. Like I'm 43. I've been doing sports talk. I've been involved in radio since I was 15 for 28 years. You hear me say this a lot. I quit listening to what you say a long time ago. I watch what you do. I quit listening to what you say a long time ago. I watch it. You can say whatever you want, but I watch what you do. I'm never drinking again. I'll see you Friday. Golf sucks. I'm never going to play again. See you next weekend. The Gators are done. I'm done with them. See you next game. People say one thing and do another. All you have to do is, I've brought this up numerous times. If I ask you what your favorite restaurant is, you're going to say one thing, but this restaurant over here is the one that makes the most money. Nobody's going to say it's their favorite place, but it makes the most money. Why? Because you're going to go there. Not what you say, what you do. So baseball, for the longest time, listened to its purists. You can't change the game. I'm going to quit watching. You're 70. You're going to be dead soon. Who cares? We're going to build for the future. Can't believe you said that. What, the truth? You're going to build for the future. If you're not building for the future, people say, I don't like change. Okay. And people, I don't like change. Okay. I bet you if they build a new road, you're going to take it though. I don't like change. Oh, okay. That's fine. It's fine if you don't like it. It doesn't matter what you like. All that matters is what is. In baseball, learned, at least in the last 2 or 3 years, we got to quit listening to we got to evolve. So they did. And baseball went out and they did what? They added the pitch clock. Purist. It's going to ruin the game. Has it? I love these games, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I love the fact that the game's over. And this is great. It's speeding it up. It's making it more fun. It's making it more lively, to the point that baseball had to extend beer sales to the 8th inning because the game was going too fast. I love it. That's a great problem to have. And then, when it comes to on foul balls, getting the runners back, it's about speeding up the game. Life is fast now. Would you rather have a 4-hour flight or a 3-hour flight? We're going to take same distance, right? 3 hours. When you're booking a flight, you go, which flight has the most layovers? You would never do that, ever. Fast, speed, fast. And baseball is looking to tune some more things up. They've used the Atlantic League as a beta testing ground to try new things. That's where the pitch clock got tested. That's where, putting runners on second base in extra innings, which is the one thing that that's so tough for me. That's the one that I struggle with the most. But look, I'm going to hold up progress. If saving a bullpen's arms and eliminating having right fielders throw pitches in the 15th inning is the price that we pay for having a guy on second base, getting rid of that, that's fine. 3 new things that the Atlantic League is going to beta test. You ready for this? These are the 3 that are coming up that could go into effect for the 2024 season. The first of which is this. Permanent pinch runners. The way the permanent pinch runner would work would be this. The permanent pinch runner is a player that's designated to pinch run at all times. Entry, re-entry, entry, re-entry, entry, re-entry. So let's say, bad example, but let's say you come up, somebody gets a double. Okay, this guy's my designated pinch runner. He comes out. Everything that he does, fine. Scores, doesn't score, goes back in the dugout. Next inning, catcher gets a double. Here comes the same pinch runner. You can use the same pinch runner every inning. Now, what we haven't figured out is, can you use that same pinch runner multiple times in an inning? Let's say if I pinch run for somebody and they score and the next guy gets double, can I immediately come back in and pinch run? I haven't seen that yet. I don't know that component yet. Because you could have the same guy. If I'm the fastest guy, then if I'm baseball, I'm trying to find me a guy that may not, the best sprint. This is where baseball rosters would then start to get interesting. I'm going to find the best sprinter that I can find. Always talk about find the fastest guy in the world that runs 100 meters and 9 point, the Usain Bolt. Is it Gatlin? Those speed. Can I find somebody like that and just have him run bases? Is that right, Ron? Is it worth on the roster to have somebody that is so fast that I can pinch run them every single inning for 9 innings? Is that worthy of a roster spot? And I don't know, but if I can pinch run them multiple times an inning, the answer would be yes at that point. You bet it would be. My slow trotting catcher would never, ever, ever have to run the bases. I'd have nothing but a 4-3 guy out there, 4-3 40 guy. I'd have nothing but speed constantly on the base paths. So one of the things, again, the Atlantic League is testing for baseball potential next year, permanent pinch runners, a guy that can pinch run every inning, come out, come in, come numerous times over the course of a game. I don't know about numerous times in an inning, but numerous times over the course of a game. Whole game reentry. Interesting. Speeding up the game. That's one of those things the purists are going to white knuckle it, aren't they? That's a purist white. Final score today: the San Francisco Giants 10, the Chicago Cubs 5. Jonathan Gatlin, former USA sprint gold medalist in the Olympics, scored 8 runs. Greg Redigan, hey, these kind of things alter historical stats. Yep, they do. Just like the 7th. Here's the difference, though, Greg. When they added a 17th game to the NFL season, nobody thought twice about how it's going to affect the historical stats. Baseball's the only one that's concerned about that. You're right. It's just one of those things that baseball kind of. Here's the other thing. Again, they're talking about 3 things. 1 disengagement per plate appearance. I thought, okay, what the. One disengagement per plate appearance. What the hell? What's that? What 1 disengagement per plate appearance in baseball is you only can throw over to first once. So if I'm on the mound, okay, try to pick you off, I don't get you. That's it, baby. I only can throw over there once. I only can try to pick you off once. I can try to pick you off. I can step off the rubber, but I only have 1 disengagement per plate appearance. That changes when you go to another base. So let's say I try to, I don't know. It's a 1-0 count. I tried to pick you off. Okay, now I don't have a disengagement. I throw it in the dirt, wild pitch, pass ball, you go to second. Then I can try to pick you off. I get another disengagement. But they're trying to eliminate how many times you can try to pick a guy off. 1 per at bat, per plate appearance. More stolen bases. It's going to lead to more stolen bases. So that's rule number 2. The 3rd rule, the double hook. This is for the Major League Baseball postseason. The primary purpose of this is the entire Major League Baseball postseason, where you have starting pitchers getting taken out in the 2nd inning. Baseball is the sport that is the most different from the regular season to the postseason. That used to not be the case. But by far, it's the most different. Football, you don't have Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and then you come out in the playoffs and go, okay, we're going to hand the ball off 50 times today. It's not, it doesn't work that way. Baseball's like, our starting pitchers, all right, it's 2-2 in the 3rd. Let's take him out. Let's make this a bullpen. Every game's a bullpen game. Well, baseball's trying to fix that a little bit. Bring back the more importance of starting pitching. Double hook, where the starting pitcher has to go at least 5 innings. If you take your starting pitcher out before the end of the 5th inning, the DH comes out of the game too. So those are the 3 rules that Major League Baseball, after all the success that they've had, the shift, you hit it the other way. And I've said this time and time again, I'm not paying $70 a ticket to watch Mike Trout bunt. I don't want to do that. I want to watch my star do star things. That's why I go to games. Like, oh, instead of hitting into the shift, hit the ball the other way. I'm not watching David Ortiz, who as a Red Sox fan, watching him try to hit some soft mealy ass single to left field because no. Baseball shift is just the same. You can have certain guys on this side of second base. It's no different than a setup of an offensive line in football. So many guys on the line of scrimmage. So many guys left of center. This guy can be on the line. This guy can't. It's the same thing of the rules and shifts in baseball. And they've changed the shift rules. Has it weakened or ruined the game at all? It's made it more exciting and more fun. So every change that baseball has made this year has been a rousing success based on your consumption, based on your excitement. Everybody that, again, I don't listen to what you say, I watch what you do. And that's how media works. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how sports work. What do you consume? Not what you say you like, what you actually like and what you actually consume. And in baseball, everybody complains, these rule changes, I hate them. And then you consumed them and love it. So baseball's like, you love change before. What other change can we do? Oh, okay. Testing pinch runners. Again, the three big ones: pinch runner, a designated pinch runner for the whole game, a guy that can come in every inning and run. You only can try to pick off a player once or step off the rubber once per plate appearance, and a double hook. If your starting pitcher goes less than 5 innings, you lose your DH. So, yeah, how about that? So those are the rule changes that they're trying, at least in the Atlantic League at this time. PodUp with Matthews in the morning is a service of Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance. It's a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life for you to go in the right direction with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit them today at ograinsurance.com. That's OGRA insurance.com. Give them a call. 352-240-1779. That's 352-240-1779. There you go. I got some messages rolling in here, courtesy of Meldon Law. Joe writes in, Seth, I got to shorten the season. Those guys play 20-something days in a row, and we wonder why the Stars are always injured. Well, they're not going to shorten the amount of games. But, Joe, I agree with you. And there's one way to do this. You expand the rosters, and you play doubleheaders every other weekend. If you play doubleheaders every other weekend, then you can control this based on where you play the doubleheaders. You're not going to play a doubleheader outside in Minneapolis in April. You're not going to play a doubleheader on the weekend outside in Denver in April. You're going to play a doubleheader in Denver. You're going to play it in June or July, where you can avoid cold catastrophes. So the first few months of the season, where are you playing your doubleheaders? You're playing them in Miami. You're playing them in Houston. You're playing them in Phoenix. You're playing them in LA. You're playing them in Seattle. You're playing them in the environment you can control. And then that's how you shave a couple weeks off the season. Because everybody's like, the season's too long now. The season's as long as it's been for 60 years. The season's been 162 games since 1961. So the season, it's no longer. The season's too long now. It's the same distance, same time. Now, what's happened is what? Well, the postseason's expanded. You used to have 2 playoff teams. They got 12. Is it 12 or 10? Is it 10? You used to just have World Series. Let's go. Well, once you added divisions and once you added wild cards and once you added play-in wild cards, you've expanded all this stuff. So you need to shave a couple weeks. That's if you play doubleheaders every other weekend, you could be playing the World Series the first week in October. You'd shave 2 or 3 weeks off the year. And Stars are always injured. You know why there's more injury? And everybody's like, the Stars are injured. And everybody's more injured today than they've ever been. What's the deal? Guys are bigger, faster, stronger. It's the same reason why the speed limit was lowered in the 70s or 670s, right? When they lowered it, 55. Why? Because people were dying like crazy on the roads because everybody was driving so damn fast. People were going 80, people were going 90 all over the place. They're like, we got to slow this down. Way too many people are dying. The faster you go, the bigger and stronger, the more injured you're going to get. Who's the most injured guy always on the court in basketball? The big men, the center, bigger bodies, more of a target. So bigger, faster, stronger. Injuries happen more today in sports than ever before. Why? Because guys are bigger, faster, and stronger than ever. You have defensive linemen running 4.740s. You got freight trains running into freight trains. Of course, there's going to be more injuries. There you go. Wrapping this thing up. Remember, PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to your way every single weekday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. And it's courtesy of QC Kinetics. If you have joint pain in your shoulders, knees, hip, or back, don't waste your time with surgery, downtime, drugs, all of those things. Long-lasting relief. Schedule your free consultation with QC Kinetics today. Locations in Ocala and Gainesville. 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550. Seth, take 40 games off the schedule. Put no, Joe. Just a quick lesson. Joe, I take 40 games off the schedule. You're going to go to an owner and you're going to say, here's what I need you to do. I need you to surrender $75 to $100 million. But trust me, you'll make your money back. How? You just will. How? When you say ticket prices probably will even increase, probably is not. These guys are businessmen first. You're not going. Baseball's not cutting 40 games off the season. They're not going. Billionaires don't become billionaires by you saying,